how was knowing that you were going into the Hall of Fame affecting your mindset going into the Grand this year? I mean, did you say, I'm going to the Hall of Fame, we're gonna get what we get and it doesn't matter, or I'm going to the Hall of Fame and I've got to prove that I can, that I'm at the top of my game right now? Or was there anything like that going on in your mind because of that event?
I had to block it out, and I knew I had to block it out. There was times, it'd creep into your head, but I don't think I ever missed because of it. It certainly made some of the events a little bit tougher just when it pops in, but it was different. I had my mom and my sister who've never been to the Grand before. The biggest shoot they'd ever seen is the Canadian in Brandon. We got 125 people.
That's a good
When they came, they said it's unbelievable how big this is. They said we have no idea that it was this big. Even the people around the grandstands for the blue gray and everything like that, they had just never seen anything like that before. So it made it a little bit different having them there. But as far as the shooting goes, yeah, you just got to block it out.
Don't forget to follow us on our social media pages. Like, share, and subscribe. This podcast is sponsored by the following: Remington, made with pride in the USA. Iconic American impact. Wenig custom gun stocks. Head on down for your custom fitting. Remember, winners shoot Wenig. Shot Tracker, like having a coach on your barrel. For more info, go to takeaimtech.com. Life is too short to miss. RM Shooting Clinics, helping shooters from coast to coast. Have Ricky take your game to the next level. Zach Nanini at Northwestern Mutual. Trusted advice from someone you know. We believe in putting people first. Other supporters for Trap Talk: the Nevada State Trapshooting Association. Don't miss their 75th annual state shoot this October in Las Vegas. The NSTA puts on some great shoots, and they're going big for this year's state. Go to nvtrap.com to check out their program and all other shoots as well.
Welcome to another episode of Trap Talk. I'm your host, Zach Nanini, and I'm here with my co-host, Richard Marshall Jr., and our good friend, Pat Lamont. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Welcome.
Awesome. Well, Pat, we just got off with Dagan Voigtman, and we talked about his Clay Target Championship win at the Grand this year. We're doing something called the Ring Series, where we're interviewing each one of the Grand Ring runners, and you won the all-around for the fourth time this year. So congratulations on that amazing feat.
Thank you.
Yeah, congrats. Are you taking that ring and making a toe ring or something? Because you got 11 now. So, I mean, what are you doing?
I love more. 11 and not enough.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say, I know some people, when you get into those high numbers, obviously Leo, he made them independents and stuff like that, but I'd just be going rings, just rings and rings and rings, and then just stacking them on top of each other. What do you think, Pat?
See, there's 12 birthstones, and there's each of the rings you get to pick your birthstone. So I'd love to get one more, So
do you have So you have 11 different birthstones in them then?
Yeah.
So you pick a different color every time.
Different background. Yeah, they're all the same. They got a diamond in the middle, but you get to pick your different background.
See, Zach?
Yeah, I've only seen them in pictures. I unfortunately don't know what they're like up close myself. I mean, most people won't let me get too close to them because I'm Italian. They're worried I'm going to run off. So
That's horrible, Zach.
So Pat, we want to get into, your mindset. You've, won 4 all-arounds. I would say you're probably up there with one of the people that has the highest amount of all-arounds at the Grand. I'm sure, Leo had a few all-arounds too, but what is your mindset going into preparing for each one of those events? I mean, do you go into those events, the singles, doubles, the handicap, with a different mindset, or do you pretty much shoot like you normally shoot, or what gets you ready for the all-around?
I want to go into each event with the same mindset, and I want to go in with that same mindset right from the first targeted championship week. I focus so much on the overall. I think that the all-around kind of comes with it. Now, as the week goes on, it's the same mindset, but there's a little bit more pressure when you get towards the championship events. That last handicap on Saturday, it's when you got a chance, it's a sick feeling. Like you almost, I've never got physically sick, but it is just, you feel different.
It's a little bit of a load and a weight to bury when you know you have the opportunity to strike at it, right? I mean, you've done all the work going into that handicap, and now it hinges on one event, whether you could step up and do it, or you mess it up, and then it's like, okay, come back next year, right?
Well, this year I really hadn't won anything up until that last handicap. It kind of tied everything together. There was some high Canadian trophies in the all around overall. In the handicap event itself, it was an important event.
Yeah. So you broke a 199 in the singles, correct?
Yeah.
Then you broke 100 in the doubles.
Yeah.
And then you broke a
98.
90 what?
98 in handicap.
98. So a 397.
Yes.
Okay. So were you a lone champion on that, or did you tie, or what was the situation going into it?
Well, when we finished, I checked the scores on my phone, thinking there would be someone come in with something higher, and there was a pile of 396s, and we kind of started watching the scores come in, and there hadn't been at 397. So I went for lunch, went sat in the tent, and in walked Austin Jacob. And I saw him walk in. I thought, ooh, there's the guy that could have done it too. So I pulled on my phone, and sure enough, he had 397. So it takes the wind out of your sails a little bit, hoping that maybe that was enough, but you just know it's time to gear up for a shoot-off.
Yeah.
So for this one, 397, is that the lowest score that you've ever won it with, or is that like just a tied score, or what? Because I remember you did a 399 one time, correct?
Yeah, at 399 08, 98, 398 in 09, and then I've got two 397s.
So 297. I mean, it's not bad shooting, I guess.
That's the Italian coming out in your back.
Yeah.
He's always, we got to watch him a little bit. But no, I saw the scores come in. I saw your 397, and I thought, man, and it wasn't, the handicap, it was a little windy that day. Not bad, but targets were up and down a little bit. So I thought, man, he might get this as a loner. And then I saw Austin's come in, and I don't remember where. I think I ran back to the camper, and they called the shoot off. And of course, all the way to your camper, 3.5 miles. So by the time I made it up, you guys were done, and you had won, because I remember I jumped out of the truck and came up and did a little quick interview with you. I was there at least at the shootout, like my host here, co-host. He was off at home sleeping already, but
I was gone. When you shoot like a 390 in the all around, you leave.
You bounce.
You just get on the road. You say, hey, you know what, Pat, Lamont, all you other guys, I gotta go. Thanks for coming, but I'm out. So I was at Annie Gunn's restaurant with Rich Bullard having a ribeye and enjoying myself that night, and not celebrating a victory, but just celebrating a little bit of defeat. So it happens.
Now, so that was your fourth all around. You were in the double shoot off though too.
I was in that. That one didn't go as well.
Yeah,
but you didn't go out
it happens
early.
now.
You were in it pretty deep, were you not?
I think I can't remember if I went 60 or 80, but missed in, I think it was 80, and then missed in the next round. Went out and shot another 20 just because, and that was it. Yeah. But Matt went, 200? I think he went 200.
I think they went 200. Yeah, Matt's pretty tough.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't miss very many doubles targets. That's for damn sure.
No. Now, so you broke 397. I had picked that someone would break 398 to win, this year. And my original pick was Ryan Glow, but he left. He didn't need a ring. He just bounced. So
now I talked to him. I said, "There's an asterisk beside this one, because I think he was one of the ones with 300. So the way that he'd been shooting, he could have done it.
Well, I told him. I said, "Dude, you broke back-to-back 99s, missed the 98th on one of them, the 84th, I think, on the other." And I just spent all last week with him. Zach and I shot together over in Iowa at the Heartland Grand, and Ryan stayed with me in my camper the whole time. And every night I'd be like, but I understand why he went. That's cool. But I told him, I said, dude, you would have broke a 98 minimum. I said, the way you were shooting, that was just, and he's been just
sometimes when you're hot, you're hot. But the other
Yeah.
thing that I'll say to that is I've seen some people that are hot and red hot and breaking them and everything like that. And going into that event, anything could freaking happen.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I mean anything. And
Yeah.
I've seen some people go into those 300 straight and end up with a 392 or a 393. And you know, it's not as common when you're breaking those big handicap scores all the time, but
No,
it's just, I mean, that I can only imagine what that pressure is like. And Pat, because I haven't been in that seat at the Grand America finishing with anything higher than a 396.
it's
And
Grand
you-
American, Zach, not
Grand
America.
America. Hey,
Grand
Oh,
American.
it's a feeling like you can't. I don't even think you can explain it until you've been there.
No,
And I don't
Yeah.
think you get in any other shoot than the ground.
yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, I've won the all around with a 398. And I remember I broke 99 in the Grand American Handicap that year, and to do that, and I missed early, and I was like, okay, let's keep it together for the overall. And then it just at the end, like literally, like the last two targets slipped in. I was like, wait a second, I'm on a 398. I'm like, oh, and then it just out as soon as it came in, I shut it out as fast, and I remember breaking the last two targets, and I'm like, 398 might be good. And now, of course, we didn't have the software we do now. Back then, it was RJ Stewart, and it was a little slower, so you had to go see a TV and whatnot, or kind of look. So I was like looking at scores, and I'm like, and everything that kept coming in was 397, 397, 396, and I'm like, man, I got a shot, you know, because usually in those years it was a lot of 398s and 399s, or a couple 399s every once in a while, but it was like, hey, this might be an opportunity. So I know you've won, so that's 11, you know, 4 HAAs, and I think Leo has the record with 6, if I remember correctly.
I think that's in the Hall of Fame. It was.
Yep.
And Leo may have 6, but I think there's someone from a long, long time ago had 6 too.
Yeah, and that could be. I mean, there's some, and I just roughly glanced at it, but you know, back in the 20s and stuff, as far, I think that's as far back as they go, is like 20 or 21. So, but there were some shooters back then that, you know, like Joe Heisted and that sort of era that had shot for several years, that, you know, sprinkle a few in here and there. So, but yeah, I mean, you're getting up there. Well, 11, you've got to be, if I'm not mistaken, the second
number 2.
highest, because I think Harlan has 10 or 9.
I think Harlan's got 12, and I think Stafford's got more than that too. He's maybe
Does
got
he
14.
really?
I think so.
I have to do some research on that and see.
Yeah, I mean,
But I thought that could be right,
I think, you know, I honestly think the number that I heard in conversation, and this was just a conversation with Harlan, had 14. Maybe.
Yeah, we got to check it.
Maybe.
Yeah,
Is that what he's?
on that one.
Because I know he's never won the grand handicap, but he's won the doubles a couple
Singles.
times, I think. Yeah, the singles. I think he's won the singles a few times
all
also.
times.
So
Well,
yeah,
that's
that could be.
overalls and all arounds.
Well,
Yeah.
to get those big numbers, that's what you have to do. Look at Leo. He won the overall over and over. You can't win those individual events over and over. They're just so tough to do.
Yeah. You're gonna have to, if you're gonna get multiple rings, it's overalls and all arounds. Because I mean, they're just so far in between to get the singles, the doubles, or the handicap, I would think. I mean, you've got to be absolutely perfect, and then you've got to beat everybody to the shoot off. It's a long, long, long road to get there.
Yeah, Harlan has 12.
Okay, so 12.
I just counted, yeah, because Harlan's got he back-to-back clay. I didn't realize he won back-to-back clay targets.
That's pretty good.
In 17 and 18. Yeah, it's tough, as you know, Pat. You've won the clay target. I never have. I've been runner-up 4 times in the dang thing. But you know, it's one of the toughest ones to win, in my opinion.
Well, and same thing. You can shoot 100 after 100, and you know you feel like you're never going to miss when you're hot. But then you get to the end of that shoot off, and you have a chance to win it. It's like you've never held a gun before.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, that you're
Very
exactly right.
Hello, Trap Talk listeners. Zach Nannini here, and I'd like to thank our show sponsor, Remington. And today, I would like to go into what shells I use when I'm training and when I'm shooting tournaments. First of all, we start with the Gun Club. This is a great shell. I shoot an 1145 ounce and 1/8, and this is what I shoot for singles and both shots of doubles. The only reason I don't shoot this in tournaments is because I like a little bit of a harder shot, a little bit of a harder break, but it works great, and it's the same speed as this STS shell. So this STS shell, a little bit harder shot, figure 8 wad column, smokes the targets a little bit harder. Also, I shoot for singles and doubles, both shots. And then when I go to the back fence and I want to put the smoke on them, I bring out the Nitro 27 ounce and 1/8, 7.5. It's a 1235 shell, blast the targets, works really well. I hope these shells work for you, and I want to thank Remington for supporting Trap Talk.
So I think I would like to talk about another dynamic. Obviously, this isn't your first win for a grand ring. You won a bunch of stuff, but this year, the major different thing that I noticed was we went to your Hall of Fame induction at the ATA. We got to watch that. It was a great time. Everybody got to hear of your accolades and your shooting ability, which is obviously very impressive. How was knowing that you were going into the Hall of Fame affecting your mindset going into the grand this year? I mean, did you say, I'm going to the Hall of Fame, we're going to get what we get and it doesn't matter, or I'm going to the Hall of Fame and I've got to prove that I can, that I'm at the top of my game right now? Or was there anything like that going on in your mind because of that event?
I had to block it out, and I knew I had to block it out. There was times, it'd creep in your head, but I don't think I ever missed because of it. It certainly made some of the events a little bit tougher just when it pops in, but it was different. I had my mom and my sister who've never been to the ground before. The biggest shoot they'd ever seen is the Canadian in Brandon. We got 125 people.
That's a good
When they came, they said it's unbelievable how big this is. They said we have no idea that it was this big. Even the people around the grandstands for the blue gray and everything like that, they had just never seen anything like that before. So it made it a little bit different having them there. But as far as the shooting goes, yeah, you just got to block it out.
And I know you're pretty focused on, getting your rest and doing the right things to stay in the game all week long. Did you happen to celebrate a little bit too hard on the night that you went to Hall of Fame and feel it affected you the next day? Were you out a little late doing things you shouldn't have, or was it all focus and dedication?
I can do a little bit of both, but I was late. No, and that's just the way I am with shooting. I come there to compete, and I can have fun too, but I'm not going to stay out till the middle of the night kind of thing, try to get up and shoot. I just think you're there to shoot. You can have fun at the same time, but the primary thing is to shoot.
Yeah, I mean, you're very serious about it. And I know some people come to the shoot and the primary thing is to have fun. So, they're going there to relax and have fun, and there's nothing wrong with that either. And you can shoot. I've gone to a lot of shoots with my primary focus being to have fun and won some stuff. But I tell you, I went. The Heartland Grand was the first shoot that I never had a sip of alcohol through the whole thing. And I tell you, I felt pretty good going into the last couple of days. I'm like, this is a new feeling.
This is a different feeling. I mean, he's usually over there like,
a little more tired hanging out with Ricky. I mean, the problem is Ricky's good no matter what he does. He's the top of the board all the time.
Hey, I was with you. I only had a couple drinks, I think, and a few beers. It was so hot last week, Pat, and at the Heartland Grand, a couple days. I mean, it was like 115 with the heat index. I think I drank like 2 cases of water in 3 days.
Wow.
We were definitely sucking it down for sure. So other things, you won ring number 11. We're starting the new year. Are you already starting to set goals now at this point for next year, or right now at this point, what's going on in your mind?
Last night I went out and shot skeet. I'm away from trap right now. I need to take a break, and I think that's important. I think you burn yourself out if you do this week after week after week. Our season, again, is so short. You go, what is it, 10 weeks in a row or whatever it is. I just don't think you can sustain it. So right now, just taking a little bit of a break. As far as setting goals, my goals are always just to maintain a high average and shoot well at the ground. Hopefully win some rings. That's my goals every year. So it's not that I have to send too much.
So I did your
Yeah.
average numbers, and it looks like in singles this year you had a 99.28, you had a 95.43 in handicap, and a 98.32 in doubles, which is a composite of a
97, 68, 68.
Yeah, rounded. See, so he's always got to be right, Pat. That's just can't give
You're
me
you're third in the average. Dagan's got everybody. He had a 98.30, which, by the way, we just did the episode with Dagan, and he told me to tell you congratulations. He said, I know my dad got to congratulate him. I didn't get a chance, so please tell him congratulations.
I meant to
So-
phone him when I got home. I'll have to do that.
Yeah, he's such, I mean, you guys are, I mean, I call you kids, because how old are you, Pat?
38.
It's okay. You're still a kid. You're still 10 years younger than me, but he's 22. He's already got 4 rings, Yeah. And I'm like,
I think
so-
we need to keep stacking them up, Pat, because the kid's coming. I mean, he's
Well, and it's not just Dagan. I mean, he's of course the biggest name, but all those young guys, they can all shoot now.
oh, yeah.
And so what do you think that's from? I mean, do you think that it's just they don't think about it and they don't know what they're doing as far as being so big and so great, or is it just more people getting in the sport, or the scholastic programs, or what would you attest that to?
I kind of think it's the scholastic programs. Now, I don't know where all the younger shooters came out of. I don't know if they're all out of there or not, but I think they can see that other people are doing it too. I just think that you get so many guys that are so competitive, it just ups the level of everybody.
Yeah.
Like when I was that age, I don't remember scores coming in like they are now.
No,
I mean,
you're correct. I mean,
I don't remember it. I mean, 10 years ago, I don't remember it being big like this. Seeing people run all the singles at a shoot like this. I mean, the only times I ever seen things like that were when I was watching Leo and he was doing things that were out of range normal. Like I remember him going to Ohio and having that breakout week, and
4 targets.
4 targets. And now, Rick, that was that the same shoot that you shot and did very well at, or was that Ohio State and yours?
That was the Ohio State shoot back in, I think it was 08 or 09. He missed 4 in the overall.
out of 1,200.
Yeah, he broke an 1196. I was there the first day. I broke 100, 9900. He went 100, 9800. I said, hell, slacking when you're missing twice as many as me. That's a fact. That's exactly what I said. 3 days later, I go, I was just kidding, buddy. But, and he won, I think that shoot, if I remember right, he won $34,000 or $32,000 at that shoot. So a little different than now what we're partaking in. But, it's interesting. Going back to the kids, a lot of these kids, you watch them and they're just out there banging away. I mean, look at the overall winner, Landon Sievers. He's a junior shooter. I don't think they realize, the bills, everything that you have that comes along with shooting, where mom and dad's paying and that sort of stuff. So that, I think, makes a difference.
I think there's a little bit of that because, I mean, I definitely had a different experience when I was traveling around as a junior than I am now. It's just, I wasn't thinking about work or wasn't thinking about all these other things that kind of creep into our mind at some level. And I think there's a young innocence to it of just like, I'm going to show you guys how good I am. And, that's it. It's funny to me to think, these guys 1 or 2 years ago, we didn't even know who they were, but they were shooting. And now, they're winning grand rings.
Oh, absolutely.
And not that this would have changed in the past 10 years necessarily, but I think the gun fit and point of impact, I think people have such an understanding of that now, how important it is. I'll tell this story. When I was living out in New York there last fall, I went out shooting and I just had my skeet gun, just a flat shooting MX8. My gun shoots about probably 22 inches high at 40 yards. This MX8 is shooting way flatter than that. It might be 6, 8 inches, something like that. I went out and shot singles and I couldn't hit anything. So I got invited to a league night. We had to shoot 1 round of singles, 1 round of 25-yard handicap. I said, I'm not going to shoot my gun. So a guy said, Lear, go ahead and shoot this. It was a Beretta. I didn't know where it shot. Well, I went out there and shot 21 in singles and a 17 in handicap from 25 yards. And it made me realize how important point of impact is.
Oh yeah.
Because I thought I was on those targets. And I figured, your pattern's so big, you should still be on break zone. No, like it's critical. I think that these young guys are realizing that, and they're making their guns shoot where they need to shoot.
Well, and I think also, Pat, that they're getting, a lot of them are taking lessons. A lot of them are exploring and investigating stuff on their own and understanding, like you said, because when I was a kid, I just took a gun and went out and shot. I mean, I remember my first gun I had was stolen, and they're like, "Where did it shoot?" I'm like, "Where I looked." I mean, that was how I explained it. Where now it's amazing, these kids, and I worked with a couple kids at the Grand that were like, okay, my gun's at 90%. And I'm like, when I look at the rib, I'm like, yeah, it's pretty close. They're like, I think I need to go a little flatter because I'm taking the tops off. I'd let them shoot, and boom. And it would. And it was like, they were 13 years old. When I was 13, I wasn't worried
They're
about that.
learning more at a younger age. And I mean, the youngest one I'm seeing right now is Barrett Debris. I mean, he's picking up so fast, and he's 11 years old.
11 years old.
That's why it's little brother.
Yep.
And it's like, you see him be 11, and, he went for the first few weeks, this was his first year. He was breaking, 82s and 83s. And then one day at the Grand, he broke a 99 in singles. And I'm like, where does that come from?
Hey, it does help me shooting a Perazzi Lusso with Wilkinson barrels. So, I mean,
he hits them hard. The funny thing is he had that Perazzi backpack, and he loaded it up with shells. And when he went to put it on, it had 300 shells in the day. He almost went backwards like a turtle. But it was hilarious. But
yeah, absolutely. So you've shifted gears. You're shooting skate now. Are you staying up in Canada this winter? Or are you going back to New York?
Nope, in Canada. I was just there for 6 months for work. That's all that it was.
Okay. So what's your plans for the winter?
Well, I played hockey forever, of course, being a Canadian, but broke my ankle a few years ago and quit doing that. So I kind of slowed down a little bit in the winter. Have to do a little bit of hunting, I guess, to stay in a little bit of shape.
Yeah, I understand.
when's the next shoot for you? Are you going to go to the Spring Grand, or what are you thinking?
Yeah. Plan to go to the Spring Ground. We'll just go the 2 prelim days and championship week. And then we don't start shooting till end of June. Actually, with Minnesota moving their shoot, that might actually be, there's a smaller one before that than probably Minnesota.
Yeah, I heard they moved it, right? I think it's the same time as Nebraska State shoot.
It is, yeah. Yeah, which normally that's when our Canadian is. So hopefully they don't keep it there forever. But if they do, I guess we'll have to pick which one to go to.
So what do you go to the Canadians, or do you go to Minnesota instead?
It depends where it is. If
Okay.
the Canadians out west, Alberta or Manitoba, I'll probably go there. Otherwise, it's likely going to be Minnesota.
Okay.
We'll see. And I'm assuming that you're going to get a lot more points in Minnesota, right?
Minnesota's a bigger shoot, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with the Canadian. It's the biggest shoot in Canada, and there's a lot of prestige, I guess, that comes with it. But Minnesota, it's always such a nice shoot. I always enjoy going down there, seeing the guys, and getting to shoot against such high caliber shooters there. That's a tough shoot.
Now, I have a question about the Canadian Championships. Do you have to be Canadian to win, or can you come over as a non-resident American and win something?
No, you can come over as a non-resident. We had, I don't know what we had, 5 or 10, maybe probably 5 Americans come up.
Well, let me know when you're going to Minnesota, and I'll put it on my calendar.
Gonna say that. Well, Pat, I knew. He's that weaving and dodging guy. You know, he was mad when I showed up early at the Heartland Grand last week.
I said, "Hey, why are you trying to get in my dish, Ricky? This is my dish." That's okay. We had fun. It was a good time. You would love the Heartland Grand, Pat.
Yeah.
You got a great background. You know, you got that corn that's real level out in front of you. They throw a
Beans out
looking
front, and then
target.
it goes into corn.
Yeah. I would
It's-
love to go that shoot one day. It's just after the grind, it's so tough to stay motivated.
Hey, I get it. You know what? You rest, buddy. You don't need to worry about getting that
Here
income.
we go.
You just rest. You're fine. It'll be there for you in 10 years.
You're horrible, Zach.
Oh, I'm pretty bad.
Hello, Trap Talk listeners. Today's episode is brought to you by Wenig Custom Gun Stocks.
That being said, a custom gun stock is going to elevate your game to get the same fit every single time.
And I can attest to that. I broke hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hundreds with my Wenig Custom Gun Stock.
I even broke hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, Rick, but I did break 100 from the 27 within 7 days of getting my stock and broke 2 more that year and loved it.
Here, this is
Okay, you take it or me?
We'd like to thank Wenig Custom Gun Stocks for supporting Trap Talk.
That being said, everyone knows.
Oh. Winners shoot Wenig.
Are we doing the import?
Pat, we had a whole episode with you before where you talked about, you know, your mental game, your practice regimens and all that stuff. Just to refresh the listeners, is there anything that you want to kind of re-go over or reiterate that you think would be helpful for them to step their game up to the next level?
Anything you did different at the Grand this year that, you know, I know going to the Hall of Fame, like we talked about, is a big deal, and that plays a little weight on you just to like perform, so to speak. And of course you did, but anything that changed throughout the year or?
I had a good conversation with Bill Kiner actually at the Hall of Fame dinner. He says, I watched your podcast. And he says, one of the things that stood out to me was something he said. And I knew exactly what it was because Phil is, he's such an eye guy. And I said, is it let your eyes tell you when to call? And he says, absolutely. He says, how did you know? So he says, he's actually going to do an article on that. But that, you know, of any of the, I guess, technical things I spoke about, I think that was the biggest feedback I got through the year. And I guess after thinking about it, I do still very much believe that. Like, I think you watch some guys and they can basically put the gun up and call for it as soon as that gun hits their shoulder and their eyes have to be ready, I guess. It must be how it goes, but I can't do that. I got to send my eyes out there. And it's almost as soon as I see that focus that I want to see, I call for the target. One of the things that I did do a little bit this year is hold the gun up too long at times, you know, trying to get that perfect focus. And I think my eyes locked exactly where they were, and the target just slipped right through. And then by the time you go see it, you know, usually your gun's empty by the time your eyes catch up to it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Perfect amount of time. And I can personally attest to that statement you just made because there was a couple events where I was like, okay, slow down, mount the gun, get the eyes exactly where you want them to be. But they will kind of lock into a spot if you leave them there too long. And then when that hard left comes out, it's like a flash, or even the hard right, it's like a flash almost. And you feel like you're always chasing from the backhand side.
Yeah. Is that the singles target you missed on our 499?
See why has he got to go there like that, Pat?
We had this, and this was kind of interesting, Pat. This year, I mean, we run a lot of 499 squads and several 498s, but Justin missed one in one of the days, and we had a 499. And then Zach missed right at the end and had a 499 on the, what was it, the first 100 of the singles, wasn't it?
Yeah, the singles championship day.
You know, and it happens. But I understand when you're talking about your eyes, because I actually last year started really focusing on making sure to handicap that I'm ready, my eyes, because I can do that. I can throw the gun up and see, but as you get older, I watch some of these kids, their head hits and they're calling. Well, their eyes are going on.
Freddie Ningle pops that gun up and calls pull.
What's that?
I said Freddie Ningle pops that gun up and calls pull as it's hitting his face. And I'm like, Jesus Christ,
Freddie's from South Dakota. You never know about them. So, but yeah, that's the thing though. But I believe that if your eyes are not set, you're going to miss that. Your probability of breaking it is a lot better than not having them set, you know? And I focus that a lot with students on making sure your eyes are right. Because if they're not, you can't see what you're shooting at.
Yeah. And I think that's a difficult thing to teach too, because how do you tell someone your eyes are right? I think you got to find it. You
Yeah,
have to
exactly.
find where you were when you saw that target come out the house like that,
Mhm.
and I guess try to repeat it.
Yeah, correct.
So, like you said, one of the things you believe is knowing when your eyes are ready. And I remember the other principle, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you make sure to hold really still when you call pull also, correct? I mean, you're not moving on the call, are you?
No, I let the target. I guess my eyes go first to the target, then I make the move to it. Now in doubles, I do creep a little bit. I'm moving up that first target. Now, I guess the other technical thing I was going to bring up in doubles, if I got my gun too low, I pop that first bird too quick, I'm going to swing the gun over the second one, and I don't even know if I short shoot it. I'm swinging so fast, you basically machine gun the pair. What I found last year is I held the gun up a little bit higher, and still made that bit of a kind of a creeping move as I called for it, but it just slowed me down between the pairs, and my average went up.
Yeah.
Well, that's
If I do that, I call failure to fire. Zach witnessed it, and it happened to me at the doubles championship shootout. I'll have a tendency to do that same thing, just slowly move. But if I do and call and the target ain't there, I'm like, yeah, and I just take the shells out. I say failure to fire. Everybody goes, was that slow? And I go, well, to me, it's slow, but I'm actually moving the gun.
Yeah.
So I'm actually covering it up. So I'm like, failure to fire. That's, so yeah, it's that. And that's one thing for the listeners out there. I mean, everybody changes a little bit as they're shooting throughout the years. And what we're trying to do is get better. That's, find that spot that, hey, I see the target better this way. This, I'm going to do it. Like I say, if it works for you, run with it,
Yeah.
Pat, what else are we missing? What other little nuggets of gold can you give us tonight?
I can't tell all my secrets right now.
Hey,
I'm trying to win a 12th ring next year.
Everybody's like, grill that guy and get everything out of him. Now, didn't you? We did uncover the song that you sing in your head, right? It was Crazy Kids. Is that right?
It kind of changed a little bit this year. Kind of moved a little bit.
What do we run? No more Kesha?
She still comes back every now and again.
Did you bring her out on the handicap on Sunday at the ground, or did you use something new?
I think when I get that tight on that last day, who knows what's going through your head at that point. I don't even know if it's a song. I think there's just a million thoughts going through your head at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So you shifted songs. Is it upbeat again like that, or is it like completely different?
It just kind of what's in my head that day. I let that happen a little bit. But if there's nothing in my head, I will start singing that same song. It just kind of puts you back in the same spot whenever you walk out there.
So same routine. He's probably singing a little Shania Twain or something. He just don't want to say. It's okay.
I tell you what,
Hey.
when I'm in the doubles and I sing "Man, I Feel Like a Woman," I just hit it a little harder. Crush him, baby.
Oh Lord, this is bad.
Pat, I mean, this is the deal. We're probably going to have you on 30 more times because you're going to win another 30 rings. There's a lot that you have to give to the game. You're obviously an ambassador in the sport, a gentleman in the sport. You do a great job shooting well, representing well, and doing the right things. It's always a pleasure to have you on. We're looking forward to seeing what you do next year, obviously. Probably have to have you on the next ring series if things keep going this way.
Well, and we might be doing some episodes at the Spring Grand. So we'll be there this year. Dubai's not going on, so we'll be at the Spring Grand. So
we're going to leave the Sheik's money alone this year, and we'll stay in Tucson, Arizona. So is there anything we're missing, Rick? Is there any exiting thoughts?
I don't think so. I mean, everybody, is excited to always hear stuff from Pat because, just the wealth of knowledge and his shooting experience he has. I mean,
you're kind of a big deal, Pat.
Yeah, 11 rings. Harlan has 12. I did look. Stafford does have 14 rings. So I think he is second then.
So you're number 4.
You're number 4. You still got plenty of years.
Number 4, but you got a while to go based on, you don't really do bad things to your body. So you could be around a while.
I hope so.
All right. Well, we'd like to thank our show sponsors, but before we do, is there anybody you'd like to thank again, Pat?
No, I think just family and friends, the guys you hang out with at the shoots. You make the shoots what they are. So it.
You already thanked them all at the Hall of Fame dinner. How they're out now.
Yeah.
We'd like to thank ours, which is Remington, Wenig, RM Shooting Clinic, Shot Tracker, and if you need a financial advisor in the United States, call Zach Nini. I'm here for it. So we had a great time with you. We'll talk to you soon. We'll see you at the Spring Grand and shoot straight, my man.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Trap Talk.